Weaning your breastfed baby. Slow, gentle, and on your terms. Welcome back to Spill the Milk. Today, we're diving into a chapter that almost every breastfeeding mom reaches eventually weaning. And it's rarely simple. It brings relief and grief, freedom and heartbreak, confidence and doubt, often all at once. Before we talk stories, emotions, and real life experiences, we're starting with what matters most: how to protect your body and your mental health during weaning. First, a grounded reminder rooted in facts, not pressure. The World Health Organization recommends breastfeeding for 2 years and beyond, as long as mom and baby desire. There's no deadline. There is no should. There is no right age to stop. The right age is the age that works for you and your baby. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how to wean safely, protecting your body. The biggest risk with weaning is doing it too fast. That's when moms end up with engorgement, plugged ducts, mastitis, rebound oversupply, emotional dysregulation for both mom and baby. Weaning should be gradual, predictable, and gentle. A safe plan looks like drop one feeding at nighttime. Wait 5 to 7 days before dropping another. So again, one feeding every 5 to 7 days. If baby struggles, shorten the first feed instead of eliminating. So instead of maybe doing 20 minutes, do 10. Use ice and loose bras. Never bind. If you feel a clog or if you get painfully full, remove just enough milk for comfort, not to completely soften. That just re-stimulates supply. What moms think is failure, adding back a feed for a pumping or comfort or slowing down, is actually the correct safety strategy. Weaning should not hurt. Okay, here's a big one. Weaning with oversupply. If you have oversupply, you are not broken. Your body's just superly enthusiastic. But oversupply makes weaning trickier. The rule here is even slower. Stretch pumping or feeds gradually. Pump only until pressure fades, not until empty. Gentle lymphatic massage is way better than deep tissue pressure. And of course, there's my favorite. That sunflower lecithin can help clog-prone moms if it's desired for you. You didn't create that oversupply in one day, and you won't shut it down in one day either. This is patience, not toughness. One of the hardest times for me when it came to weaning my children was nighttime weaning. So nighttime weaning without trauma. Night feeds are rarely about hunger after a certain age. They're usually about comfort and regulation. To night wean gently, here's what I'm going to recommend. Keep closeness high. Offer water if that toddler is thirsty, and replace feeding with rocking, touching, or humming. Now remember, this isn't for a baby under a year. But if your baby's over a year, use the same soothing phrase every time. If there's a partner available, sometimes switching who responds can help. The goal isn't to take something away. It's to give a new way to feel safe. So here we go. We're going to talk about stories. You guys love hearing stories. So this first story is about a 6-month-old who was breastfeeding, and mom wanted to transition to formula for the last 6 months. So we're going to talk about Ava, mom to a 6-month-old baby boy. She still loved breastfeeding, but she wasn't emotionally ready to stop. But her son was constantly popping off, crawling away, skipping feeds. She was just exhausted trying to predict a feeding schedule that really wasn't ever going to exist. So what she said is, I don't want to stop breastfeeding. I just need it to stop running my whole day. So we created a blended transition plan, not a hard stop. At 6 months, babies still need breast milk or formula as their primary source of nutrition. So our goal was to protect his intake, not replace breastfeeding with solids. Don't want to do that. Here's how her plan looked, okay? I had her keep the breastfeeding moments that mattered most emotionally. Hers were morning and bedtime. And then replace one midday feed with formula for 5 to 7 days. Again, you guys, it's the 5 to 7 days. Once stable, then I had her replace a second midday feed the next week with formula. If her baby clearly needed milk at a time, she planned to bottle feed. She breastfed. Flexibility kept the process peaceful. By 10 months, she was breastfeeding only at bedtime because she wanted to. No pressure, no pain, no clogged ducts, no mastitis. She transitioned fully to formula near the last couple months of the baby's life. She said, I didn't lose breastfeeding. I just lost the pressure. The bond stayed. And that's what we were aiming for. So her story was really, really, really special in that she just wanted a little bit of her life back. And there's nothing wrong with that. We transitioned her safely into formula 5 to 7 days. Every 5 to 7 days, went back and said, okay, we're not going to remove milk at this time. We're going to do formula instead. That kept her transition smooth. Now we're going to talk about a sweet 2-year-old. Are you ready? So, weaning a 2-year-old, no pressure for whole milk, and water is just fine. Now, let's talk about Sophia, mom of a 2-year-old, sweet little girl. She had so much hair. She breastfed longer than she expected because it just worked for them. Nursing was their reset button for frustration, overstimulation, separation anxiety, and those bedtime battles. She didn't wean her because her daughter was done. She weaned because she was done. She was touched out and craved her body back. Lots of moms feel this way. So we made a plan that respected both. Night weaning for her came first. Comfort without milk, rocking, snuggling, rubbing her back. Reassuring phrases like, milk is sleeping now. Milk is for bedtime only. Milk is all done. And we got rid of a source of stress immediately. Toddlers do not have to start drinking whole milk after weaning. They can. They don't have to. And dairy counts. So you can, instead of doing whole milk, you can do yogurt, cheese, fortified milk, dairy foods, and meals. And hydration, you go. If your toddler is thirsty, water is perfectly appropriate. There's no rule that milk must replace breastfeeding after a year. One night, her daughter crawled into her lap. She texted me and said that her little girl just fell asleep on her chest without nursing. And you know what? She told me she was sad. Not because she was like sad that her daughter didn't want her, but she learned her daughter didn't lose comfort. She found comfort in a different way. She said this to me, and I had to look it up again, but she said, breastfeeding wasn't the connection. It was a vehicle for connection. When we stopped, the connection stayed. That's the heart of toddler weaning. So here's what I want you to know. Weaning is not quitting. Weaning is not losing. Weaning is not the end of closeness. Breastfeeding is love. Weaning is also love. If breastfeeding was short, long, easy, rocky, exclusive, combo feeding, or anything in between, it all counts. You showed up, you sacrificed, and you cared. Whether your journey lasted 2 weeks, 6 months, 2 years, or more, you did enough. You are enough. And your baby is so lucky to have you. I can't wait to see the comments on this post. Join me in my Patreon community. It will be linked in the description, where we're going to spend one whole week talking about weaning. Have a good one.